So guys, this is the PowerPoint presentation I was showing you. I just want to go through a few things for those of you who are interested that I'll put up for you to have a look at later on if you're interested in doing so. So let's just have a look. Okay, this is what we've already seen. Let's go through those. We've read all that about the hot and cold deserts, types of deserts, what happens with them. Hot deserts, cold deserts, you can look at all this, we've already been through it. Where they are, why they're there, with the cold ocean currents, where the hot air rises at the equator, drops at the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer up here. So you've got low pressure all the time at the equator, although the sun does, it changes in the sky, but it's dominated by lows all year round, so it rains all the time here. Whereas these areas dominated by high pressure systems because the hot air rises, it cools, moves out to the sides, and drops down at the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, and so if air's dropping, can't condense, and you don't get any clouds forming and no precipitation. Okay, these are all the main desert sizes of all the deserts except for the polar deserts. This is in your textbook, so you can have a look at that anytime you want. The hot and cold deserts of the world. There's a desert game up there if you want to play it. Where are they located? You should have already taken notes on this. Location, depressions, basins in the interior. It's especially because that's where you're not going to get any. You're going to have rain shadow from all the way around. Leeward side, same thing. Why are they found where they are? Well, there's one missing from there I told you about today. There's it's also if they're a long way inland. Cold ocean currents, told you about that. There's where the cold ocean currents of the world are in the green arrows. So wherever you see that, little rainfall out of deserts. That's a big sandstorm off the Sahara. This is Namibia, and it shows you Namibia, which shows you where the arid areas are of the world, of that area, not the world. These are those cells I was telling you about and how it's warm at the equator. You can see there, cools, comes down at around 30 degrees, a bit further south and north of the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. There's the same thing. It's showing you surface winds. Here's why you get deserts and all the winds of the world, where they are because of those pressure systems. And some places the winds are pretty high, some places they're low. There's all the winds around the world and descending. It gets a bit more complicated. So these ones near the equator are Hadley cells. The ones up in those latitudes are called Ferrel cells, and then the polar cells. So they're all ones. They move with the. It would actually look very much like this right now with the equinox when the sun's directly overhead of the equator, 21st of September. 21st of March, but the rest of the year it just sort of moves. As the sun changes position, these cells move with them. But you can see that in some areas there's always going to be descending air and there's always going to be high pressure where the deserts are. Okay, Australia's the driest inhabited continent, as we talked about. This is typical weather map. You can actually flash, there's the air circulation thing up there. This shows you what it's like. It doesn't actually have a date on it, but that's typical for summer, I'm pretty sure. Okay, this is interior of Australia, arid, semi-arid areas. You can see the majority of the continents. Pretty arid and semi-arid. So, and those semi-arid areas can become desert through the impact of people, through that process called desertification we talked about. These are where all the deserts of Australia are, pretty simplified. The main deserts, if you look at them, they're all together, they're just called the Australian desert, but they're the main desert areas. And they're different. They've got different features, those deserts. There's the size of them. Lack of relief, rainfall in rain shadow areas. These are the rain shadow. Rain's on the leeward side of the mountain where the sea is. Warm, moist air pushed up over the mountain, precipitates, snow, rain on that side, but then when it drops, the air drops that side, it actually becomes more dense and it's very dry. As the air drops, it warms, and it can't, you can't get any real condensation. So it does, but it's usually in some of the higher mountains, especially, there's a massive rain shadow, and you get deserts in that area on the far side of the mountain range. Same thing, just showing you what happens. Air forced up, warm, moist air forced up, condenses into clouds, precipitates, and on the other side it's dropping on the leeward side. Becomes warmer, little chance of rain. As I said, orographic rainfall, that is, or precipitation. This is the same thing again, it's just repeated. Don't know why it's in there twice, just to make sure you know it. Okay, same thing again, just another diagram showing the same thing again. This is, we were talking about why it's not always hot in the desert, and I think I might just leave it there so you guys can have a look at this bit. Hang on. And that's that large diurnal range I was talking about. Night and day differences. Hot days, cold nights, same thing. Okay, I'll see you later. I'll turn this off. If I can, figure it out. Stop it. Bye.